All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to follow the money behind some recent domestic unrest here in the U.S. It's a trail that investigators say leads to a really complex and pretty powerful global funding network. So let's start right on the ground, in Minneapolis. In the middle of some pretty intense anti-ICE demonstrations, a huge question started popping up. Who's actually bankrolling these protests? And then you get moments like this. A protester, caught on camera, just comes right out and says it. And with that one admission, the whole focus shifts from the streets to the money trail. So according to the report we're looking at, congressional investigators are now digging in, and they're finding that the funding trail doesn't really lead back to a bunch of small grassroots donations. Nope, it leads back to just a handful of key organizations. The report specifically points to these two groups, the Party for Socialism and Liberation and the People's Forum, as the main engines getting protesters out there. And the crucial part, both of them are allegedly getting huge amounts of money from a single person. So who is this guy at the center of this whole financial web? Well, he's a man who has, for the most part, operated from the shadows. His name is Neville Roy Singham. To really get a handle on his influence, you gotta look at the numbers. We're talking about a lot of money. $785 million. That's how much Singham, a former tech executive, reportedly pocketed when he sold his IT consulting firm back in 2017. And get this, the report alleges he then funneled more than $250 million of that through a network of, let's say, less than transparent nonprofit organizations right here in the US. I mean, that's over $250 million. So what does he do after cashing out? He picks up and moves to Shanghai. Now, this is a really key detail because as an American citizen living there, he's basically beyond the direct reach of U.S. authorities. But here's where the story takes a major turn. This investigation isn't just about funding protests anymore. It expands into international politics with allegations of a direct connection to China. The report claims Singham actually shares an office in Shanghai with a media company he funds called the Mako Group. And this isn't just any media company. Their stated goal is to push pro-Chinese Communist Party or CCP messaging and, in their own words, to tell China's story well. And, this isn't the first time Singham's been on the radar. Not by a long shot. The scrutiny actually goes back decades. We're talking an FBI probe way back in the 70s, all the way up to multiple congressional investigations just in the past couple of years. And this quote from lawmakers on the House Ways and Means Committee, it really cuts right to the heart of their concern. They're alleging this isn't just about funding protests. They believe it's a full-blown indoctrination effort, fueled by foreign interests. Okay, so with all this attention from Congress and the media, you're probably asking yourself, why haven't they just gotten answers from the man himself? It's a fair question. Well, the biggest hurdle, according to the legal experts in the report, is actually pretty simple. It's all about geography and jurisdiction. A U.S. subpoena, you see, pretty much loses all its power once it crosses the border. Yeah, listen to this former federal prosecutor. He lays it out perfectly. Singham's address in China is basically a shield that makes it nearly impossible for Congress to compel him to testify. And as if that wasn't complicated enough, there's this other legal angle involving something called the Foreign Agents Registration Act, or FARA. It's a law that says you have to disclose if you're working for a foreign government. But the report points out that the disclosure rules for nonprofits are so loose, it's really hard to prove a violation. So when you put all these pieces together, the money, the global connections, the legal roadblocks, you start to see that this isn't just about one man or one protest. It opens up a much, much bigger conversation about activism in the world today. All right, so let's quickly recap what the report is alleging here. It's drawing a direct line from domestic protests to a single, super wealthy donor, all the way to a sophisticated international network, a network that has major geopolitical implications, and one that's proving incredibly difficult to hold accountable. And that really brings us to the big, thorny question at the heart of all this. In a world where money zips across borders in an instant, and activism is global, how do we, or can we, draw a clear line between legitimate charitable giving and covert foreign influence?